Hello, breeze and gentlegrams, from the Yonker youth, the goblin of Wolfgang, to touching glass, we are back. Chroma the Great got lost and told us to call, but finally the flower boy is back to dissolve. The detractors doubting if he's really the best in the West after Kenny. It's an odd future flower master feeding fans with many musical masterpieces, 2 in just 12 months. New era from Tyler is right on the cusp, so let's break down everything we know about this new Tyler project. But first, hit that like and subscribe like the call button if you're not lost yet. Now, lawbreeds and gentlegrams, we have to have a very serious discussion about world building when it comes to albums, right? Think about this generation, right? Say what you want about Travis Scott's latest release, Jack Boys 2, but he always comes in with a very clever way to immerse fans into the entire aesthetic and era that he's building out, right? Whether it's from merch drops to the concerts he does. I mean, for Utopia, I think he was literally performing in the Coliseum. He also does the multiple album covers. Each album kind of takes on a different theme. Speaking of each album taking on a different theme, look at Kendrick Lamar, arguably the best in hip-hop at building an entire world around the project he's about to put out, usually centered around an installment in his Heart series. Each Kendrick Lamar album does a lot more than just give you a mental note of where he is currently in his life. There's always a different approach, a different packaging, right? On Good Kid, Mad City, you had Kendrick telling his story through the lens of the average individual that grew up within his neighborhood and delivered this message and really packaged the whole album in the form of a short film, right? It says it on the album cover. And shout out to the NFR guys for pointing this out, but each subsequent Kendrick project is packaged through a different media form. The To Pimp a Butterfly Tracklist progresses through Kendrick narrating a poem. The album cover of Damn is packaged like a magazine with the large red font at the top of the cover, and each song being written in large capital letters, symbolizing a magazine headline. Mr. Morale, between the various skits and interludes, progresses as a theater play, and to me, just based off of Kendrick's description of GNX and the intention he had behind it, saying that he just wanted to go back to the roots of hard-hitting beats, straight bars, this to me was his attempt at delivering fans the old school feeling of popping in a cassette tape into your car, just riding around blasting this music at the highest volume, right? This is like a mixtape or a cassette tape, his most gritty project. And speaking of gritty, then you get to the Clipse. Look at the rollout they just had around their new project, 15 years in the making, which of course Tyler was on. We're going to touch on Tyler shortly, and maybe the Clipse are even on this Tyler project, but look at that rollout. That was a masterclass in how to deliver a project, right? They were teaming up with esteemed streetwear brands to create merch that fit the theme of this project. They were linking up, of course, only with Pharrell for a year and a half in Paris to design the soundscape of this project. They gave us Tiny Desk and color performances. They gave us sit-downs with only real journalists and podcasters who actually understood hip-hop and can ask them the proper questions about the music, leading to very engaging conversation. But I say all this to say, the significance of creating an experience surrounding the project, especially in the digital era, is almost as important as the project itself, because this is what fans are going to go back to years from now and remember, right? Like if you're a Tyler fan, you definitely remember him putting the mask on, giving us the black and white video for St. Chroma with all the colors emerging at the end, announcing the album just a week before it came out, doing the bold move of releasing it on a Monday, fighting against the corporate streaming platforms that have designed mass-produced music releases to fall on a Friday night when everyone is gearing up for the weekend, not truly in their routine to the point where they're able to actually sit with the music. He was fighting against that. When you think Chromacopia, you think of the whole aesthetic that Tyler brought to the album cover, to the visuals, to the tour. When you think IGOR, you think the same thing. Sunglasses, the wig, the piano, the character he put together, that all ties back into the music. Same thing with Call Me If You Get Lost when he became Tyler Boulderdale. I don't know how you pronounce that, all right? You guys all made fun of me in my last Tyler video for that. Tyler Boulderdale, all right? That's what I'm going with. And we know that Tyler has been very consistent in building out these different characters, these different worlds for each release, and giving us very concise album rollouts in the process. They're not long, drawn out with a bunch of singles. There's no drama involved. It's just Tyler simply announcing the project and then releasing it usually about a couple weeks later. And he has kept this consistent theme throughout his entire career, where he drops an album every 2 years. In 2009, it was Bastard. 2011, Goblin. 2013 was Wolf. 2015, Cherry Bomb. 2017, Flower Boy. 2019, Igor. 2021, Call Me If You Get Lost. Now, he broke that pattern with Chromacopia, right? Chromacopia was released in 2024, about 3 years after Call Me If You Get Lost. So that pattern was broken. Now, what's not broken is the fact that a bunch of you guys have been telling me you've been Anita Max winning some free cash from playing mobile games. So I want to put all you guys on to something that almost seems too good to be true. All right, let me give you a little glimpse into my life. When I'm not making this content for you guys, I have a disgusting addiction to my phone. My daily screen time is higher than Drake on that album cover, higher than Snoop off the edibles. So if you guys suffer that same addiction as me, I want to put you onto something that's going to change your life. FreeCash.com is a program that partners with mobile games that are looking for more users to play their games, and they will literally pay you to play their games for free. All you got to do is sign up using the QR code you see on the screen or using the link in the description of this video. You make an account super easy. All you got to do is put in your email, create a password, verify your email, and then you're good to go. And they got a bunch of games. My favorite is the Monopoly Go because we're always on the go trying to make some money. Once you make an account, you just click the game you want to play, follow the directions that they give you. The directions are super easy. Usually you just got to download the game and start playing. So it's about time you put that phone addiction to good use. Again, use the QR code you see on the screen or the link in my description. Create an account and you could start making more than $150 just to play a game on your phone. Now, Tyler's been on this Chromacopia tour, which, on a side note, if you want to know the magnitude in which Tyler the Creator's success has catapulted in, I saw his IGOR concert in 2019. I paid about $75 Canadian dollars for some pretty good seats. I wanted to go see him on this Chromacopia tour. Those same seats in a bigger venue are no longer 75 Canadian dollars. They are now 400 Canadian dollars. Insane. But back to the show, all right? He's been on this Chromacopia tour, and a segment of the show consists of Tyler digging through a crate of different records, sometimes stopping to talk about different records that inspired him. So he stopped on a Jill Scott record to say that was a massive inspiration for the creation of the Chromacopia project, which of course we know was a much more stripped back, honest, possibly the most honest we've ever seen Tyler on a project. And again, he credits Jill Scott as being a massive inspiration for that album.
Yes, Jill Scott. Exactly.
This album turned 25 to...
And did.
This album was stitched into my spirit. When I died, this album was coming with me.
Exactly.
Miss Jill Scott, I know you aren't here, but thank you so much for existing and making this beautiful.
Now we know he was just on the Clipse project, the song POV, talking absolutely crazy, right? Braggadocious, whatever the word is. Just flexing all throughout the verse with some very clever wordplay, but of course some more bars about Ferraris, like call me Mr. Brella, how I weather the storm, F43 milli, I peel off like an orange. La Ferrari doors open up like it's therapy. That number ain't bread to me, that millions is crumbs. And Chromacopia was almost like a therapeutic project, right? He was saying how the album was inspired by a lot of lessons that his mother was trying to teach him early on as a kid that he only truly understood as he matured. Now, this is going to play an important role within what we could expect from this new Tyler project because, again, Chromacopia was very stripped back, very vulnerable. But then on this Clipse album, he's talking about Ferrari doors opening up like their therapy. Now, on a different date at the Chromacopia show, Tyler was again digging through vinyls and he came across the Clipse debut album, Lord Willing, where he shouted them out for being an integral influence on the way that Tyler just gets raps off. When he gets into that bag where he's just giving you bar after bar, braggadocious, that's a direct reflection of the creative spark that the 11-year-old him got from listening to the Clipse.
This is my motherfucking DNA. This is the base, the core of how I rap, how I put these words together. The shit y'all hearing tonight would have not been possible without 11-year-old me hearing this album, Lord Willing by the Clipse, right the here. These got a new album out called Let God Sort Them Out, and I swear to God, when y'all take y'all ass home and you go to sleep, I want you to wake your ass up and look that album up and just listen. Shut the f up and listen, all right? Shout out Pusha, shout out Malice, and thank y'all for laying the groundwork with the re-up game mixtapes that allowed me to make this album right here.
So maybe that gives us a little bit of a glimpse of the kind of creative headspace that Tyler's in right now, right? We caught a small glimpse of that on his verse on the Clipse song POV, and on the Chromacopia tour as he was digging through vinyls. He also, without fans realizing it, low-key previewed his upcoming album, Don't Tap the Glass, because you could see as he's sorting through different records, the actual album cover of Don't Tap the Glass pops up as one of the vinyls. Now, I believe this was during his show at the Barclays Centre, and after the show, when you went outside, the entire building was lit up with this brand new Tyler, the Creator character, the words saying, "Don't tap the glass," and there even being a statue of this new Tyler character inside a glass box outside the arena. Now, aside from this being his first surprise drop, no single, no music video, no nothing before we actually get the album, unless we get something in the next day. Aside from this also being his second Monday release, which we know was extremely successful for him with Chromacopia, as it was his highest first week sales, even though he only had 4 days of actual tracking for that week. Beyond all these artistic, creative risks that Tyler has taken, I think this is the most innovative way he's ever rolled out a project, and one of the most innovative rollouts we've ever seen within hip-hop. Now, call me a glazer all you want, alright, but have we ever seen an artist midway through their tour? Like, Tyler is not even close to done the Chromacopia tour, and he's actually performing at a festival very close to my hometown in the next couple of weeks, so now I gotta cop tickets. But just 9 months after Chromacopia was released, still in the middle of that rollout, still touring the album, he's now announcing this brand new project by immersing fans into the world, into the aesthetic, into the character, all outside of the concert where he was performing his previous album. And instead of getting a single, an interview, nothing, we just get this brand new character. Now, what does this character represent? Well, let's try to piece the few details that we have together and understand what direction Tyler is about to head into with this new project. I've seen some interesting theories online. I mean, with the whole title of Don't Tap the Glass and the new Tyler character wearing a hat that says glass on it, being behind an actual glass, can represent the fact that Tyler himself, this character, is the art, right? And the whole "don't tap the glass" phrasing embodies the sentiment of observing an art piece at a museum that's protected by glass that you can't touch. You have to respect it, observe it, appreciate it for what it is, but you can't mess with it, right? And maybe that's the direction Tyler's trying to head with this album, right? Preserve the essence of hip-hop, the art form, not to mess with it. Or maybe it's a double entendre to say, don't mess with him. Because just off the inspiration he's going for with this new character, if we look back to the different artists and aesthetics that he's taken inspiration from, it definitely fits a much more aggressive, triumphant tone, kind of like some FU energy, but also sprinkling into the mix homage to some of the pioneers within hip-hop who really brought the genre to the forefront of the mainstream in its early stages, and that's going to play an important role in the little clues that Tyler has given us about this project. But first, onto the character, right? So, as you can see, the character is shirtless, rocking red pants and a red hat, very reminiscent to the look that LL Cool J was going for in his music video for the song I'm Bad, the first single off his second album, Bigger and Deffer, which is an acronym for the word bad. The song I'm Bad was a step in a more aggressive, tougher direction for LL Cool J compared to the more playful, romantic songs that he was more popular for. But if you take a closer look at this new Tyler character, you notice his chain is a lot bigger than LL Cool J's, right? Well, that chain and the glasses he's wearing take direct influence from the hip-hop group Run DMC. Speaking on Run DMC, an editor for the publication All Music had described their legacy by saying, more than any other hip-hop group, Run DMC are responsible for the sound and style of mainstream hip-hop music. Their sound is directly responsible for intentionally transforming rap music from dance and club-oriented funk grooves like Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang and The Breaks by Curtis Blow to a more aggressive, less danceable approach, characterized by sparse, hard-hitting beats. They would form the foundation of hardcore hip-hop. So again, you have Tyler paying homage to two pioneers in hip-hop, referencing a more aggressive approach that LL Cool J took, and referencing Run DMC, who pioneered this new school era of hip-hop, merging it with more aggressive rock elements. At the same time, the hands of this new Tyler character are very inflated, almost like Popeye, and resemble Ludacris's hands in his music video for the song Get Back. I remember bumping this song as like an 8-year-old, and I never understood what he was talking about. I just remember the music video where he's like throwing people out of his way in like bathrooms and stuff like that with these massive hands. He's yelling on the track, "Get back, get back." Like, Ludacris had some more aggressive leaning cuts, but this was definitely, as far as his mainstream singles go, definitely on the more aggressive side. So with obviously these various different influences that this character embodies, and of course with the more aggressive approach that Tyler had on his verse on this Clipse album, with him paying homage to the Clipse on his new tour, saying they influenced his entire rap style, and Malice and Pusha T both even sharing Tyler's new album on their Instagram stories, with Pusha T even saying trouble is coming. So what exactly is coming, right? What else do we know about this rollout? Well, on Tyler the Creator's website, where you can go and purchase bundles, vinyls, t-shirts of this new merch, we get a couple hints as to what the hell is going on with this rollout, with this project. As he puts it, there's 3 rules. Number 1, no body movement, no sitting still. That leads me to believe that there's going to be some bangers on here that are meant to get you moving. Number 2, only speak in glory, leave your baggage at home. Again, Chromacopia was more of a therapeutic project for Tyler, right? He took his mask off. He's reflecting on the advice his mother gave him. He's taking influence from Jill Scott. Here he's taking influence from the Clipse, right? But while they're bagging up the dope, he's saying leave the baggage at home. Don't bring your issues here. This is a fun, glory-filled space. And number 3, don't tap the glass. And when you actually go on his website, it's actually Tyler repeating these 3 rules, but in order to get him to start speaking, you have to smash the glass with a hammer. And at the same time, as he repeats the rules, after the first rule to, no sitting still, he tells you to dance. After the second rule where he says, leave your baggage at home, he says, none of that deep stuff. Kind of reminds me of Kendrick on Mr. Morale saying, this is not for lyricists, not for sentiment, F a double entendre, I want you to feel this stuff. Kind of like Kendrick on the Clipse album as well, saying, therapy taught me how to open up, it also showed me I don't give a F. And that duality being reflected in Mr. Morale versus the more raw, gritty approach of GNX. Maybe Tyler is going for that approach as well, with Chromacopia being a reflection of his shortcomings, coming to terms with them, opening up about all of his insecurities, while this project kind of reflecting the other side of that, right? Once you come to terms with who you are, you're comfortable in yourself, you're confident in yourself, you can display that confidence in the form of not giving an F. Now, as far as who's on the project, what the track list looks like, well, this extremely realistic track list came out, and it was leaked by Complex Music on Twitter. So as you can see here, it came in the form of an email from Golfwang, Tyler's brand, and it shows a track list that says don't tap the glass. There's the 3 sections: body movement, only speak in glory, and don't tap the glass. And you could see some pretty incredible features, right? Kendrick Lamar on the first track, then Malice on the second, a solo Malice song, then Lil Wayne. We know Lil Wayne, he didn't have the best album this year, but him and Tyler always create magic together, so I'm sure that would be amazing. Then you had Pusha T and Steve Lacy on the second part of the album, and then Brent Faiyaz, Bad Bad Not Good, Lola Young, and Earl Sweatshirt on the third. This is a pretty stacked lineup, right? This would be great if it was true. However, after Complex tweeted it out, Tyler unfortunately responded to them saying, false. None of these people are on this. I did not post this info. I don't know where you got this from to confirm it. And Complex replied to him saying, I got by my excitement for a solo Malice feature. Sorry, Tyler. But we know Tyler is known for his trolling. I think even right before Chromacopia, he replied to a fan on Twitter saying, like, you're not getting a solo project from me this year. And then just a couple weeks or months later, we get Chromacopia. So, maybe he wants to cover up that this isn't the official track list when it really is. I would love for this to be real. I think we're long overdue for a Kendrick Lamar Tyler feature, especially after he remixed Hey Now, also coming with that braggadocious, confident energy on that freestyle, being at the pop-up as well, shouting Kendrick out on Chromacopia, saying that he himself is biggest in the West after Kendrick. I believe Pusha T was even saying that Tyler had a studio with him on tour as he was doing this Chromacopia tour, so he was cooking up as he was performing every single night. Maybe Pusha hopped in the studio with him at one point. Who knows? But speaking to, Tyler's magnificent album rollouts and the worlds he builds around them, I thought this post was really interesting. Shout out to Brian Suzuki. He was replying to someone saying, my favorite thing about Tyler, the Creator, is how he just gets straight to dropping the album. There's no gimmicks, no rollout. I respect that. And Brian said, for Tyler, the album is the rollout. Once the music drops, he spends months pulling us deeper into the world he built. A rollout isn't just the lead up, it's the entire campaign. And of course, we saw this with Chromacopia and with Call Me If You Get Lost as well, right? Like, he released the deluxe years after the initial project, still kept it all on theme. To me, it's really the strength of these tours and these festivals that he puts on after the projects are released, right? Like seeing IGOR live with him doing his thing on the piano, bringing us more into that melodic R&B influence that character embodied, to then on this Chromacopia project, him bringing us back to how he felt as a child, right? Digging through these different vinyls that inspired him as a kid, taking the mask off, having like real artistry, real choreography throughout the entire performance, keeping it on theme with the color palette, all the greens, the fireworks throughout the show. Like, Tyler goes above and beyond to deliver real artistry within every sense of the word, beyond just the music, the aesthetic, the visuals, the performances, the Camp Flognaw festivals, letting Nardwar have his own little booth in the Camp Flognaw festival. Like, all these little things are very intentional, and they keep the focus and the priority on letting fans become immersed into the art, into the world. And in this case, he's saying, don't touch the art, right? Don't tap the glass. He's already on the news for this project, so it's going to be huge. And as fans, we are eating this summer, all right? We have a stacked lineup coming out for the next few weeks. Of course, last week we got the Clipse and Larry June and Tyler, if you want to count that. A new Raekwon album dropped. I got to check that out. Tyler's coming, of course, on Monday, then Metro Boomin on Tuesday. And he's also great at building a world around his projects. And this one seems to be kind of taking on the more MySpace nostalgia, bringing it back to that early 2000s feel where you had to like go online and pirate mixtapes or go on LimeWire. Like before the DatPiff days, he's bringing Roscoe Dash on this track list. Like, that's going to be an amazing project. Then on Friday, you have Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist for Alfredo 2. That's obviously going to be phenomenal. August 1st, Joey Badman coming after that battle he had with Ray Vaughn, Daylight, all the West Coast. That should be incredible as well. And then on August 8th, to cap it off, JID. I don't believe he's released a project since 2022 with the Forever Story. So we're definitely getting back to real hip hop. So I'm very excited. But one thing that does sadden me is the fact that since 2018, we have not received a single album from A$AP Rocky, all right? That was the last time he put out his album Testing. That was his, third album, fourth real project. And what's crazy to think about is since then, his good friend Tyler, the Creator, has already given us more albums than the entire catalog of A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky has released less albums in his entire career than Tyler, the Creator, has released since A$AP's last album, Testing. I'm going to do a whole video on why A$AP Rocky and Rihanna have left music for so long, have really abandoned music, and Tyler emphasized this way back in 2019 before he released IGOR, saying, I wish Rocky would just shut up and stop always saying what he's working on 40 years before it's even a fleshed out idea. With that said, again, don't get your hopes up and be disappointed because something that doesn't really exist didn't come out. That stuff doesn't exist, y'all. And it really didn't, because ever since then in 2019, A$AP Rocky has been teasing like 3 different album concepts, titles. He literally had like a pre-order link up on his website and then took it down for Don't Be Dumb. I saw someone say, this isn't an album rollout, it's an album roll-in. He's the first rapper to ever do an album roll-in, right? Where he deletes the pre-order link for his tape and just drops the whole release date that he initially announced. And it's sad because A$AP Rocky really could have been, in my opinion, what Tyler became. He could have been in that big 3 conversation with the Drake, Kendrick, and Cole of his generation. And I think it's time we start having a serious conversation about Tyler possibly sneaking into that big 3, taking Cole's spot. For me, he didn't cement himself there yet. I know these conversations were had throughout the Chromacopia rollout, but I don't know. I do think J. Cole has a little bit of a ledge above him on skill and on catalog overall, but who knows once we get this project, right? If Tyler takes it in a completely new direction, which he has with every project, and pulls off something absolutely legendary, like introducing this whole new album and this new world, within his tour that he's currently already on, that he still has multiple dates for, while he's not even finished rolling out the Chromacopia album, if he somehow merges both those two albums thematically together, what is he really missing to be a part of that conversation, right? Is it a massive global hit on the level of a no role models like J. Cole has? Is it an undisputed classic of his generation like a 2014 Forest Hills Drive? It definitely can't be album sales because he's catching up to Cole in that department. It can't be artistry because Tyler's producing, curating, designing, rapping at the same level and same magnitude that J. Cole has been doing for a very long time now. So what is it going to take for us to finally give him that credit and put him in that conversation? You guys let me know what you think, and I will catch you in the next one.